All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum 2026. Round of applause for Manila Bulletin, everybody. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Robin Nambay, and I'll be joining all of you this afternoon. I hope all of you had a really nice lunch. Yes or yes? Good lunch. Thank you so much because we have so much to learn from our industry leaders about their company's sustainability efforts this afternoon. But good news, everybody. I want to see a raise of hands. So among you would love to win prizes again this afternoon. Raise your hands. Okay, everybody wants to win prizes because this afternoon you get a chance to win all of those from our featured brand partners through our raffle draws at the end of our afternoon session. So please be sure to register and stay up until our program concludes. And don't forget to scan the QR codes that are now being plastered all around the venue. Scan them, register your names so you guys can be included in our raffle draw later on. Now, everyone, as you all know, yesterday, Manila Bulletin Business Development Manager Sir Jordan Tan talked about how media organizations can lead sustainability conversations during the event One IFRA Digital Media Asia 2026 at the Manila Hotel. Now, that talk highlighted how Sustainability Forum, this one, unites so many policy makers, industry leaders, advocates, and communities to address really urgent environmental challenges. Now, that one just goes to show that the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum is now being spotlighted globally as a platform for advancing sustainability dialogues and action. And for that, can we all give Manila Bulletin a big round of applause, everyone? Congratulations, Manila Bulletin, for this milestone. And thank you so much, Sir Jordan, for leading this one. And with that, everyone, let's start our afternoon session filled with knowledge and discoveries from our first speaker. Invited by Robinson's Land Commercial Inc., a real estate investment trust, our next speaker works under the office of the COL chairman to fulfill their vision of empowering Filipinos to make informed financial decisions, contributing to the growth of a stronger nation. Right here this afternoon to discuss Invest in Yourself, Invest in the Nation, please welcome Chief Investment Strategist and co-founder of Trading Edge, Mr. Jed L. Velarde.
Hi, Robin. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. So, every one of us would have this cell phone. You have your cell phones with you. So, this cell phone is actually a mirror. You know why? Ask me why. Because it's a mirror that tells something about yourself. We use this for TikTok, for Shopee, Grab, what else? For postings and orders, add cart. But what if I ask you if this cell phone really would be more of a reflection of sustainability? Are you more of a consumer or an owner? In what sense? So today, let me just simply give you an overview. I'll be speaking more of sustainability. And in my deck, I'll just simply share about when you talk about sustainability, the first thing that comes to mind will be more of recycling, renewable energy, climate action, and protecting our environment. I mean, rightly so. Okay. But what if I ask you, can we expand it more in a greater context of actually human resources? Specifically, providing sustainability in the realm of financial aspects. So that's what I will be sharing to you and how we connect it with investing in us and connecting it in investing in our nation. So let me start. When you talk about sustainability, there are three pillars. We talk about environment, which is often dealt about, okay? We talk about as well as how it impacts society. But less is really mentioned about economy, financial aspects. Because when you talk about in order for you to sustain a nation, we want to protect the environment. We also need to protect the people, the resources, the human resources that we have. And this talk about financial resilience. When I ask you, how's your financial life? What's the first thing that comes into your mind? How's your money perspective? Like here in our nation, this is something that we wanted to also address. Did you know? Ask me what? Again, did you know? Ask me what? Here in the Philippines, only 29% of Filipinos, adult Filipinos, actually save. And even a quarter of that actually do invest. And it's really, really sad. So we want to make sure that the people that drives the whole idea of sustainability in this nation, especially the young people, would have that tenacity, the encouragement to go out and making sure that financial resilience is part of the agenda. It is something that I'm so passionate here. I'm representing as well this movement to make sure that young people would really learn how to invest. And investing for some would mean, that's just for old people. Investing could mean, that's just for smart people or for those who have money. What if I tell you investing can be something that you could really start even if you're young? I'm talking to a young audience here. But without this topic, without this agenda of financial resilience, it seems that sustainability can be still incomplete. The first thing that I wanted to really stress on is that sustainability only happens first and foremost if you have to invest in yourself. Everybody say myself. You have to say it more convincingly, myself. So when you invest in yourself, you're not just investing before all of the portfolio, before talking about the stock market, the state of affairs of the global markets. Let's talk about yourself. We're talking about your mindset, your skills, your networks, your disciplines, your habits. That's the first thing. When somebody would ask me, yesterday we were in Frasati building talking to the faculty of UST on financial literacy as well with their students in senior high school. When they ask me, sir, how do we make sense of our finances? What's the first thing that we have to do? This is the starting point. You want to make sure this is sustained. An idea, a concept of investing can be so overwhelming. But this is the first start that we wanted to also make sure that every young person in this nation would get to be grounded. You know who you are. You know your habits. Invest in good habits, and that habit could actually reap good consequences. And how do we go about with this? Because for young people, I'm talking about the young people in the room, time is your greatest asset. Can I say a show of hands? If you're 20-ish, okay, that's 20-ish and below, raise your hand. Good. 20-ish and below. Wow. Congratulations. Okay? Can you tell to your seatmate, congratulations? Congrats. You know why? You have a great advantage. You have an unfair advantage even, if you wanted to look at it that way. Why? Because you're young and you have a greater and longer investing horizon. Now, if you're 30-ish above, raise your hand. Thank you for coming. But no worries. It's never too late. It's still not too late. It's just that if you're young, that in itself is a superpower because starting early beats starting big. Between an amount and the duration, if I'm 22 years old, between a 22 years old who's consistently investing regularly and between a 32 years old who just entered the game late but still consistently investing, by the time they're 60, guess, exact amount with the same assumption of, let's say, 8% annual growth rate, who do you think wins? The 22-year-old or the 32-year-old? The 22-year-old. Why? That missed decade of a 32-year-old, simply because he started late, spelled a whole lot of consequence. So there's the power of starting early because compounding, what is compounding? It's the continuous increase eventually of your earnings, or look at it this way, it's like a snowball effect. Imagine a snowball rolling down the hill. As it rolls down the hill, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. That's compounding for you. And it's something that a lot of young people right now may really take not a good look at it. Okay? So this is something that we wanted to also provide you. Time is your superpower, and it's for young people. Investing is for young people. Okay? Now, let me move it. So we want you to stop only buying from companies. Start owning them. How can I own companies? Well, when you talk investing, I'm coming from a capital markets perspective. When you buy companies, let's say listed in the stock market, you become a part owner, a small owner, an itsy-bitsy, teeny-weeny owner of that publicly listed company. Okay. So the transformation is you're not anymore a consumer. The drive right now is for you to become an investor. So the shift is for you as an individual, buying instead of stuff, you do add to carts. Remember, using our phones, we keep on adding to carts, adding to carts. That shift right now is instead of adding to carts, we'll be adding to portfolios. Because when you are actually investing, you're actually being part of that movement of raising sustainable, resilient people of our nation. When you invest, you're not just investing for yourself. The whole thesis of what we're saying here, you're actually investing also in companies. And these companies will also invest on people. And it goes a circular economy. And that people would get to have jobs. And these jobs would actually help them move and strengthen their families. And strong families strengthen communities, and stronger communities strengthen a nation. So that's the entire thesis of this. So that's why an expanded version, an expanded narrative for sustainability is we want to sustain it through educated, financially educated Filipinos. But sadly, did you know that there's already a law here in the Philippines that would push for financial literacy? But still, sadly, it's not that still extensively applied, just like any other law. So what will happen right now is that we wanted to push more. Can that also be embedded? The problem is not behavioral. It's both also structural here in our country. And that's why we wanted to push more for people to have that semblance, to have that conviction that if I'm a young person at this point, and if I'm listening right now, can I actually invest on my growth, invest on my perspective, and specifically literally investing in this economy? So let's do practical thing. A practical example could be that of investing in REITs. Are you familiar with REITs? REITs? REITs or REITs are called, which means real estate investment trusts. It's like owning a piece of a productive rental producing business without owning the actual property. It's as if you're a landlord without really owning that property, but still earning regular dividends. So when we were small, we were told by our parents, oh, buy land because land appreciates. But can you buy land right now with 2,000 pesos? Soil, you could actually buy that soil. But then again, with REITs, you can actually buy shares of the company that provide productive infrastructures that would give regular earnings. And that dividends for you actually will be given, according to the REIT law, you'll be given 90% of that dividends to you. Okay? So this is another way of earning as an investment. Now, for practical purposes, let's say an example of which would be our RCR, Robinson's Land Commercial REITs, one of the 8 REITs here in the Philippines. RCR has been in the forefront also of providing that opportunity for you to actually own a piece of a rent producing property without really buying that property in itself. So that's what this actually provides. If you go at different aspects of investing in companies, we're talking about malls, we're talking about properties, we're talking about towers which are LEED and EDGE certified certified buildings, which are also sustainable. Okay, so again, companies like RCR would give you that opportunity to start investing in yourself, but at the same time investing in that capacity to make sure that you go out and find relevance for this type of sustainability. Pero at the end of the day, we want you to look at money as more than the things that you get to receive. Wealth here is redefined. In the context of sustainability, wealth, I would like to position wealth as something that is given to us, an opportunity to make a difference to other people. Okay. I get to do this a lot when we come to different students. And one of those things that we get to encounter when it comes to students is that they have this question, "Sir, it's so hard to understand the market, especially in the Philippines. It's with all of the things happening right now. How can we make sure that we get to be rich?" Who wants to be rich here? Okay. I mean, I haven't really encountered somebody who would say, "I wanted to be poor, dirt poor." Wala pa naman nun, di ba? Pero the concept of being rich talks more about adding value. Can we redefine it to make it really sustainable? Wealth is more than money, more than what we actually receive. It's actually the value we get to give out to people. Now, for this to be sustainable, the whole aspect of doing it is to provide that kind of freedom. What is that financial freedom? It's your ability to do the things that you love without even the question of money. Imagine yourself going to a restaurant, opening the menu without looking at the price. Wow, diba? And ordering the things that you love. Imagine yourself going to a department store, buying the good fashion that you like without looking at the price tag. That's freedom. Imagine yourself waking up one day and not be shackled by your obligations simply because you're free to do the things that you love. So that's what this is all about. Having financial freedom to do the things that could also contribute and add value to people. Because that financial freedom would lead more to purpose. Because you're just not free also to be sustainable. You're not just free to do the things that you like. Okay? You want to also tie it with purpose. And that purpose for you guys is to make sure that these things, when I started as a student, I'm talking to young people, when I get to invest, yes, I invest in myself, but I start to invest really doing it the proper way, I need to understand that I must have a long-term perspective for it to be sustainable. And long-term perspective is something that is innate for young people. So you tie it up with your purpose, and its impact also would redound to yourself, your family, your community, and hopefully this nation. So we want you to start this week. Let's have these 3 big ideas. Learn about the concept of budgeting. For us, budgeting seems to be we take advantage of budgeting. I don't have a budget for that. Budgeting is simply a plan for your money. Without you budgeting it, I don't know where it will go. So when you budget, It's simply, there's a rule of thumb. We call it the 50-30-20% rule. 50% goes to your essentials, the things that will keep you alive. 30% goes to lifestyle choices so that you won't feel deprived. And 20% goes to financial provisions or financial priorities. Could it be your saving and investing? Don't just simply save, because whatever you save, whatever you set aside, eventually it would lose its value. Okay? We want you to also invest. You save, yes, it's half the battle won, but when you invest, what you set aside, you make it grow. So it's all about saving and investing. And you have a plan, the master plan. Learn to do budgeting. There are so many budgeting apps if you want to look at it. So learn budgeting, learn also investing. Investing is not really that complicated. What if I tell you a young person could actually invest even right here, right now? I mean, when talking about investing in the capital markets, that's also possible. Okay? Now, gone are the days that you have to wait until you're 30, you're 40, or you're saying yourself, until that such time that I have enough money, then I'll invest. We're saying investing is now possible, and it's really designed for young people. Okay? Now, of course, we want you to also understand risks. Is there risk in investing? Yes. Okay? But risk is given. Okay? Risk is a reality. Like, you have money in my hands. Let's say, imagine I have money. I'm holding a bunch of money. Is there risk? What's the risk of me holding this money? Somebody might steal it, right? Or things could happen. But you know, another risk? Inflation. You've heard about inflation? Inflation is the continuous rise of the prices of goods and services year after year after year, to the point that the purchasing power of your money deteriorates. Guys, your 100 pesos right now will not be the same 100 pesos tomorrow or the years to come. Value-wise, physically, it's still the same 100 pesos. But its value, what it could actually provide you, will be less. And inflation is really an enemy. What would a wise person would do? A wise person would make sure that you beat inflation. Right now, inflation is harboring around 4 and even breaching 4, hopefully not going beyond 5%. Okay. What's that 4%? That means that's the percentage of what it eats up for the value of your money. A wise person would make sure that your money will grow higher than what inflation eats up. Okay. I have a brief of a story here. I used to receive, I was a scholar, I used to be receiving a specific amount of money from the government. Okay. And you know what? That measly amount of money, way back during my time, it's only 500 pesos. But that's a big amount of money. Okay, 500 pesos during my time. You know what I'll do? I'll go to the nearest grocery way back in college. You know how I would do that? What will I get? If I have 500 pesos back then, with 500 pesos in a grocery, what will I get? Basket or cart? Back then, I'll get the biggest cart and I'll place a basket there. How does one conduct himself if you have 500 pesos in a grocery? You just simply grab items. Diba? Just grab it without looking at the actual items. Diba? And when I went to the cashier, I will hand her the 500 pesos. She will compute it and she'll give me change. Okay? Now fast forward. I think a couple of weeks ago, I told my wife, Mommy, I'll do an experiment. Present day, 500 pesos, same grocery, or at least same line of grocery. Guess, present day, 500 peso budget, what did I get? Basket or cart? Nothing. Hand carry. It's just 500 pesos eh. Diba? So how would a person with 500 pesos do? Conduct himself in a grocery on a budget? You'll be very particular with the price. But problem here, groceries right now, they don't have specific prices labeled. Instead, what do they have? barcode. So they're expecting you have a barcode reader in your eye. Ay, ang mahal, ay, ang mahal, ay, ang mahal. So I was just holding all of those items. I went to the cashier, handed her the 500 pesos, and you know what? The cashier stopped after computing and said, Sir, kulang. It's not enough. That's inflation. It's real, it's happening. And for us, for young people, for every one of us here, we know that this is a reality. We want you to really understand that a wise person would make sure you know that inflation is happening, okay? That percentage of inflation, you must make sure that your money will grow higher than what inflation eats up, okay? And of course, having risks, okay? You know what's the greatest risks? Different strokes for different folks. There are people who are moderate in terms of their risks. There are those who are aggressive, and there are those who are really conservative. But you know what's the greatest risk? Ask me what. The greatest risk is not investing. Those people who are so afraid because they get scammed, I mean, rightly so. I mean, I know, I understand. Scams is another different animal altogether. Because have you encountered people who have been scammed? Or have you been scammed also? That's one of our greatest enemies. Scams. When people get scammed, or they have a really bad experience, and they would say all other legitimate investing aspects, instruments now, will be put into question. And that's something that we wanted to also fight. Okay? So risk is happening, but the greatest risk is not investing. For you to be steady, that's the worst thing to be part of. So those are the three things that we want you to actually learn and actually embrace. There are two things that you have to build. Build an emergency fund. It's just like a seat belt. Okay? As a seat belt, you cannot drive without a seat belt. An emergency fund will be at least a month or so. For a student, you just keep on saving and saving enough, okay? And making sure that it's no excuse for you to say, I don't have any job yet. I don't receive anything yet. You could start with your allowance. Because by that time, you build that habit brings you to that level already once that you're able to actually have your own salary or your means of earning. And of course, do a starter portfolio. What's a portfolio? A portfolio is simply a collection of your investments. And you could actually start that. Not for returns per se. In fact, you could actually start investing more for your identity. And it's a practice that we actually challenge a lot of young people today. Because how can young people, even students, would actually earn? Okay? Just start a portfolio. More of it's a first step for you as to place your identity, not anymore as a consumer, but more of an investor. And lastly, begin. There's power in beginning. Because at the end of the day, you'll walk out of these halls and you would say, what did I miss? Yeah. So, momentum starts with action. Experience starts with action. Growing your learning, your knowledge starts with action. And growing your wealth starts with repeated action again and again. Okay? So we're encouraging you to don't just build your resume. Yes, of course, add your skills, build those habits, but don't just build a resume. We want you to build a portfolio that would redefine now. There will be a shift in your perspective, especially since you're a young person. Investing is designed for young people. And at the end of the day, we want you to invest in yourself, invest in each other, and of course, invests in this nation. To make it really sustainable, you're investing in your capacity to build this nation through financial education to become financially resilient. And together, sustainability, the narrative for sustainability gets to be expanded simply because there will be a shift for young people of our nation to really invest and invest wisely. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
All right, everybody. So the most important thing is investing in yourself and always begin. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Sir Jed, everyone. Thank you so much for that very, very powerful talk. We'll be seeing more of him later on in our panel discussion. Thank you, Sir Jed. Now, everybody, our next speaker is from Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation, or CREC, and Citicore Energy REIT Corporation, the Philippines' first renewable energy real estate investment trust. Since 2021, Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation has upcycled non-functional solar panels into community waiting sheds, helping reduce waste while providing sustainable public infrastructure. Under his leadership, the Citicore Group has emerged as one of the country's leading renewable energy developers, with a fast expanding national footprint and a multi-gigawatt project pipeline that positions the company at the forefront of the country's clean energy transition. To discuss Citicore sustainability in action, building a truly renewable future through business, please welcome right here on stage their President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Oliver Tan, for our fireside chat. Good afternoon, sir. Please take your seat. All right, so, okay, we're gonna do our. You are so far. We're gonna. No, it's okay. It's
You
okay.
want me to move closer?
It's okay, sir. But okay, so we're gonna do our fireside chat with Citicore CEO and President, Mr. Oliver Tan. But first, sir, I want to know how are you doing right now?
I'm great. You know, I intentionally come in early.
Yes.
Yeah. Ask me why.
Why?
I was strolling the College of Engineering, Espana. I took up 2 years of electrical engineering in this university.
Oh wow, so Mashan as well.
Yeah. And
Welcome back.
Yeah, and I just wanna start by linking the message of Jed, no, a while ago. Start early. I actually started investing in stock market as early as 16 years old.
16. Do we have 16-year-olds here? That young? We do? Oh, we have. No, you're not 16.
Yeah.
So early.
So it's very true. I started investing in stock market as early as 16 years old. It's actually one of the reasons that got me kicked out of this school. But no regrets, no regrets. No regrets. By the grace of God, I was able to lead 3 publicly listed companies already, the Philippine Stock Exchange. So, thank you. Yeah. So start early. Start early.
So that's what you get when you start early. Sir Jed, thank you for that nugget for everyone. Start early and begin right away. All right, so Sir Oliver, in a nutshell, we know that Citicore is a leading pure renewable energy developer in the Philippines. Can you tell us more about what Citicore is for everyone here?
Yeah, so Citicore Renewable is basically a developer of renewable energy. We are a power generation company with pure focus on renewable energy such as solar, wind, and complemented by battery energy storage system. We produce electricity and sell to all of you through Meralco, through electric cooperatives. We power most of the SM malls, a lot of industrial parks and warehouses, etc., etc. And we also have a subsidiary called Citicore Renewable Energy Trust. This is also another REIT where it owns land and leases to solar power operators. And we've consistently declared and paid out handsome dividend for the past 3 years.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you so much, Sir Oliver. Now, to start us off, when you talk about uplifting communities, that is actually our theme for this year's Sustainability Forum. What does that look like in real, everyday terms for Citicore? Uplifting communities.
Such a big word, no? It has always been the company's purpose. How do we do it in our daily life? In every communities where we put up our solar power, we ensure that we source, to the extent possible, we source local materials, local labors. So not only do we provide local employment, we also cause economic activities because we believe in inclusivity inclusive growth, which is part of sustainability. So that's how we exercise upliftments of communities and several others that we will be discussing later on, like AgroSolar and all the other programs that we've been doing for the communities.
You know what? I can't wait to talk about inclusivity. We're going to talk more about that in just a bit. But speaking of AgroSolar, let's go to that project, Sir Oliver. So Citicore's AgroSolar initiative is often described as first in the whole country. Can you tell us more about that? What is AgroSolar for everyone?
Yeah, so AgroSolar, the concept of AgroSolar was due to a solar power occupies a very large footprint. Approximately 1 megawatt of solar power would occupy 1 hectare. That's roughly 10,000 square meter. Okay, so we are cognizant that we will be occupying a large footprint. Hence, we thought there must be a way where power generation can coexist with agriculture land. Hence, the birth of that concept. So what we do is we select idle agriculture land and put up the solar panels.
So it's this one on the screen?
Yes, on the screen. And basically,
Oh, wow.
we maintain the agriculture intent of the land by partnering with local farmers. We provide the seeds. We grow high-value crops, vegetable, along the aisle, underneath the solar table. These are the
That is
actual pictures.
right there.
Yes. So for it to be sustainable, we also work with off-takers, like supermarkets, buyers for the produce. And so far, we've already harvested, I think, close to 15,000 kilograms of various vegetables for the community.
15,000 kilograms of vegetables.
Yes.
Wow, that deserves a round of applause, everyone. That's a whole lot of harvest just for AgroSolar. Now, I've also read that one of the most compelling aspects is that farmers, they were not displaced at all. So why was it important for you to design the AgroSolar that way?
It's very important because it's one strategy, one way of ensuring social acceptance or social fencing. Or we call it social engineering, okay? Because we're basically coming into a community where we will disrupt the farmers. So as much as possible, we don't want to dislocate them. So we partner with them to coexist, continue to harvest plant while we produce electricity. So it's very important because we need the community to embrace us for the next 30, 50 years. Because our solar plant will be, the useful life of our panels would be 30 years.
You know what? That's really sustainable because you're not removing the works of our farmers. Instead, you are helping them as well in that. And another thing, speaking of inclusivity, and I'm checking out our pictures right here on the screen, we are seeing female farmers right there. That initiative also empowers female farmers. How intentional was that? And what impact has that created within the communities that you serve?
It's actually a discovery. So initially, we employ male farmers, okay? And then we noticed that they don't stay. So tomorrow, if there's a construction projects beside the area, they will move there. So we realized, hey, why don't we hire the housewives, the female? And lo and behold, I think they are a better farmer. Female farmers are better farmers than the male farmers in the sense that they take care of the crops, the vegetable better, and the produce is much more than how a male farmer will do. And today, I think we've worked and employed around 38% of the total farmers that we've worked in. 38% are female. And we intend to bring it up to 50%.
38%, they're all female. And you plan to do it like half.
Yes, half. And the benefit is exponential. Because now, from a family income, not only the husband bring home net pay, the housewives also bring home additional income. So it augments the family income.
Does that mean that female farmers are way, way better than male farmers?
I bet. Way, way better. Mas may karinyo.
Mas may cariño ang female farmers. You know, we're going into the month of May. It's the Women's Month. So congratulations to all of our female farmers. So nice to hear that. We have female farmers working and working better than the male farmers. And thank you as well because you're putting work and money on the table for both male and female, for both the mom and the dad in the family. But for that, Sir Oliver, beyond livelihood, there's also that link to the food security. How do you see AgroSolar contributing to the country's broader sustainability goals?
Well, that's exactly our objective in coming up with the AgroSolar. Not only our vision of attaining energy security through the solar, we ensure that we will contribute to food security by ensuring that the land we're occupying to continue to produce crops, vegetables, to provide food for the table. And to date, we're occupying almost 1,000 hectares. Okay. And we plan to maximize the utilization of this agriculture land to continue to grow more vegetable and crops. So that's our contribution to the food security of our country.
All right, so we've heard so much about the AgroSolar project. From AgroSolar, let's now go into the next project, which is the Eco Shed project that transforms retired solar panels into community infrastructure. How did that idea come about? We are reusing solar panels.
Yes. So most of our, or some of our solar power are actually more than 10 years old. Okay. And for us to be, as part of the circular economy, we need to have a plan in terms of how do we recycle, if not dispose, broken or not functioning PV panels. So this Eco Shed or Eco Loop is a product of basically a creative, innovative solutions on instead of disposing the panels, why don't we just reuse it? So we use it for tables, we donate it to public schools.
Yeah, just
We
like
do
this
it-
one.
Yeah, and then we
This
also
one's in
do it like a
Pampanga.
shed for for a passenger tricycle terminals, etc., etc. So it's all about being cognizant that we basically practice sustainability also until the end life cycle of our materials.
So these solar panels, these are the ones that you use from your AgroSolar, right? And then immediately you guys can use it as well for the EcoShed project of yours. So it's really sustainable.
Yes, so these are panels broken, maybe by storm, by typhoon, or not functioning panels already. So instead of disposing it, we reuse it by doing covered walkways and the likes.
You know what? I'm very curious. So, say for example, we have a normal person using solar panels. Nasira siya. Can they just donate it to Citicore, or are those panels for the EcoShed completely like panels from Citicore?
No, even your solar panels rooftop at your homes, yes, we can work with you. We can actually tell you where to bring these broken panels so that together we'll be able to reuse these broken panels.
Very, very lovely. That's for the EcoShed project of Citicore, everyone. Now, as you all know, Citicore also invests in education through programs like Brigada Basa and Renewed or Renew Ed. Why is education a critical pillar in your sustainability strategy, Sir Oliver?
Well, I myself is a first generation entrepreneur. Okay, we did not inherit our business from our family, and we view education to be the greatest equalizer. I came from a humble beginning, and we value education because that's basically the only ticket that each and every one of us have in this room. Some may be born into rich family, but most of you who were not born in an ideal family, education is our only equalizer. That's why we invest in education. We continue to, I think through the years, we've already supported more or less 6,000 students. Okay, and not only do we invest and provide education, we also train them and employ them in the future after school. So it's really sustainable.
Thank you so much, Sir Oliver. In your experience, how powerful is early education in shaping more sustainable communities in the long run?
Yes. And at the end of the day, we envision a bigger middle class in our country. That's the only way we can graduate from being a third world or developing nation. We need a bigger middle class, and education is the only way. And if we have a bigger middle class, obviously they will consume more electricity, more sales for our company. So at the end of the day, it's a circular economy.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, last one. Speaking of work, what can you advise? What advice would you give to companies who they want to start small but meaningful sustainability practices in their own workplaces?
Well, I think for startup, the first most important question that you need to ask yourself is, what are you passionate about? First and foremost, you need to determine where is your passion, because passion will keep you in that race, because there's really no such thing as walking the park. And after determining your passion, what you want to do, the next question is purpose. So purpose now is you need to have that intersection between passion and purpose to be able to sustain you through the various obstacles, struggles, before you can really make it. Okay? So my advice is, first, determine your passion. Second, determine your purpose. As long as you provide products and services that addresses a particular problem, that's your purpose, and that's going to be sustainable.
Passion and purpose equals sustainability. All right, so Sir Oliver, just one last message. We've got the youth over here, our sustainability champions. Final message to all of them. What is one thing that they can do today to achieve sustainability in the future?
Oh, many. We are like in our case, we are both a producer and a consumer also, and all of us are a consumer. Sustainability, there's really two equation when we talk about sustainability. It's how we consume through our daily lives. No? Things like consume less plastic. In fact, in our company, we provide utensils to all our employees so that you can recycle, you don't use plastic. And things like if you can walk, use the stairs. If you're only going up and down one floor or two floors, use the stairs than elevator. And then at home, you don't need to turn your AC, your aircon, to 10 degrees or 16 degrees. The most efficient room temperature, AC temperature, is anywhere between 23 to 25 degrees centigrade. It's comfortable. It will keep you comfortable enough, at the same time energy efficient. So there are many practical ways for you to contribute in your daily life.
Very simple, very easy, very practical ways. Thank you so much, Sir Oliver Tan, for that. Once again, a round of applause, everybody, for President and CEO of Citicore, Sir Oliver Tan. Sir, it was nice talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing all of those for our Sustainability Forum. Thank you so much, sir. All right, everybody. So right now, it's time to welcome another speaker from our partner academic institution, who is a development worker, educator, and researcher with communities, community leaders, and students. He produced and delivered several types of research aligned with development, community studies, and community organizing and development. The former assistant director and current director of the UST Simbahayan Community Development Office. Let us all welcome right here on stage, Assistant Professor Froilan A. Alipaw, MCD.
Magandang hapon po. So we hear the first two speakers, and we'll go now to the journey of one of the academic communities in the Philippines. And you are here now with the University of Santo Tomas. And in response to the invitation of the organizers of the Manila Bulletin, because we are the Suki of the venue of the Manila Bulletins for Sustainability Forum. So we were invited, particularly our office, the UST Simbayan Community Development Office. So the title of my presentation is Journeying with Communities for Development and Sustainability. So you can call me Puroy, no? Because I'm a simple community development facilitator and worker. But based on my experience, we also invested a lot in terms of working and engaging with communities. So pupunta tayo sa ibang perspektiba na tatrabaho sa mga kasama ng mga pamayanan at mga marginalized communities. No? So the University of Santo Tomas is a old age university. We celebrated last week the 415th year of founding years. And then we are truth guided by reason and illuminated by faith, dedicates herself to the generation, advancement, integration, and dissemination of knowledge and even application of knowledge through different approaches like teaching, research, and community engagement. The vision of our university is faithful to our centuries-old tradition of excellence, envision ourselves as a Catholic institution learning in Asia Pacific as the lead university. And in terms of our mandate as a university, we have what we call the institutional learning outcomes, the 3 C's. No? We want to become competent, committed, and compassionate university. And with different stakeholders we have, the students, academic staff, the administrators, we are all working to achieve these learning outcomes, no, to become a competent, committed, and compassionate. And we have the seal of the Thomasian education. No? So, binipresent ko ito sa inyo because I want to really root out from what we are coming from. No? So, the seal stands for, we want to become a servant leader, effective communicator and educator, collaborator, analytical and creative thinker, and lifelong learning. So particularly on the aspect of work of Simbayan Community Development Office, nakikita ko maraming UST students, no? So this is also a sort of orientation, or maybe if they are graduating, this will be a sort of exit orientation. So because you will be a graduate of this university, and as a servant leader, we want to show our leadership abilities, no, in terms of promoting rights, freedom, dignity, no, and environmental and ecological justice. And we have to implement relevant projects that would address the different aspects or issues of our society like social justice, human rights, gender, and quality of life. And we have to show respect to human persons regardless of gender, religion, race, and even different faith, no, coming from different faith. So this particularly, we can also work with other seal, no, of our Thomasian education, seal of the Thomasian education, as effective communicator, analytical and creative thinker, and lifelong learner. So magkakasama rin po yun, no? But particularly on the work of community engagement, we have those 3 Thomasian graduate attributes. So this will be expressed in concrete response to the different needs of our partner communities. So the Simbayan, this is the office in charge for community development, advocacy, and service learning. So we are the arm of the university for those big 3 mission work under the community engagement. We are tasked to develop, facilitate, implement, and manage university community development program towards university's mission of generations of young and professionals, no, who will become leaders and missionaries in different work for our nation, for our global community, and even with our common home or the Mother Earth, ang inang kalikasan. Emanating from the university's mission is that UST envisions partner communities, institutions, local parishes, and at three sectors to be self-reliant, interdependent, and empowered, contributing to the building of the church, the home, and the nation, and even with our Mother Earth. As part of the Catholic and Dominican institution, UST Simbayan is mindful in maintaining its mission, sustaining the Christian formation of Thomasians in the university partner communities and institutions in becoming agents of social transformation. So kumbaga, we treated the different stakeholders, not only the students, the administrators or stakeholders coming from the university, but we also treat our partner communities as part of being an agent of social transformation. So true to its mission, the University Simbayan assists three key result areas: the formation of self-reliant, interdependent, and empowered partner communities and institutions. So, pangarap ng simbahan at ng university na mga partner communities ay maging self-reliant and interdependent communities. Second, with regard to our stakeholders within the university, formations of Thomasians in becoming agents of social transformation. So kung habang sa loob tayo ng university at paglabas ng university, we should be an agent of social transformation. And the third, dynamic community development, external partnership, and networks. These three key result area mirror the mission and the vision of the University of Santo Tomas Simbayan Community Development Office. So we are under the Office of the Vice Rector for Religious Affairs together with Campus Ministry and the Institute of Religion. So we are also coming from a Catholic and a pontifical university. No? So we apply also the traditions of the Dominican, being the Dominican institution. So what we call we have what we call the Salamanca process. So maring isang mahabang pagpapaliwanag sa Salamanca process, but in terms of application of the Salamanca process, it's more of applications of what we call the study, research, analysis, and putting those results into actions. No? So, in other words, meron tayong lecture, no, curriculum development, and the research engagement of the university, and the community development engagement. We have the social transformation programs guided by the different social transformation strategies. So we also apply the community development framework in the university when it comes to community engagement, regardless of what academic units or disciplines we are coming from. But we applied the approach of community development in our disciplines, no? Using the Tomas strategies, social transformation strategies. And nakapangalan yun kasunod ng ating patron saint na si Saint Thomas. At ang Tomas ay tumatayo bilang training for capacity building, organizing for empowerment, management for efficiency, advocacy, research, and documentation, and the spirituality of transformation. So yun po ang kaibahan ng approach natin when it comes to community engagement, the community development with a Thomasian and Dominican approach, especially the spirituality of our engagement with our partner communities and stakeholders within the university. So ito po yung Tomas. No? So we are also working closely with our partner communities and within the university with our different social transformation programs. No? So we have nine social transformation programs. And these are first, we have the health. No? Health is on the first program on health and wellness development. This program advocates health for all, especially the marginalized and vulnerable communities and sectors, to achieve the highest attainable standard of health. The common projects under this program are barangay health workers training, community-based rehabilitation, feeding and nutrition projects, various forms of basic medical and surgical interventions. Marami tayong academic units within the university or colleges, and this lead by the Faculty of Medicine and Surgery, College of Nursing, Faculty of Pharmacy, and the College of Rehabilitation. This program addresses Sustainable Development Goals number 3 and number 17. The second program, we have the Equitable and Inclusive Education. This program advocates education for all, especially the marginalized and vulnerable communities and sectors, to access compulsory, free, and quality basic education. Academic units na nagli-lead dito, we have the College of Education, the Institute of Information and Computing Sciences, the senior high school and junior high school. This program addresses SDGs 4, 10, and 17. The third program is on leadership, organizational development, and good governance. This program addresses SDGs 5, 10, and 16, and 17. The fourth program is employability and social enterprise development, led by the College of Commerce and Business Administration, College of Tourism and Hospitality Management, and Faculty of Engineering. These address the SDGs 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 12, and 17. The fifth program, we have the Social Pastoral Ministry and Evangelization. Nakikita ko yung mga seminarians. Andito po ba? Ayan. So this program advocates Christ's love for all, especially for marginalized and vulnerable communities, sectors to become active stakeholders in building basic ecclesial communities. Common programs are lay and youth ministry training, catechism, giving of sacraments, Bible sharing, basic ecclesial communities formation, and this led by the academic units of ecclesiastical faculties. This addresses SDGs 4, 5, 10, 16, and 17. The sixth is on culture and heritage. This program addressed by the different academic units of Conservatory of Music, College of Fine Arts and Design, CTHM, and the College of Architecture, addresses the SDGs 3, 4, 5, 10, 16, and 17. The seventh program, we have the Sports for All and the Sports Development. This addresses SDGs 3, 4, 5, 10, 16, and 17. The eighth program is a combination of environmental sustainability and action and the disaster risk reduction management. So this addresses by the SDGs 1 to 7 and 10 to 17. So halos lahat ng SDGs ay na-address ng programang ito. And with the College of Science, Faculty of Engineering, and the College of Architecture. In addition to this program, yan, nabanggit ka, the DRRM, so addresses the SDGs 1 to 7 and even the 10 to 17. The ninth program is the Household, Family and Household Development. So this addresses the SDGs 3 to 5, 8, and 16 with the different programs of catechism, evangelization, family and household management, social policies for family and household, and partnership for family and household development. Similar to those above, each program has set academic or administrative units that will take lead the developing and promoting programs with 9 expertise and interest. Why? Because each academic unit, they have the resources such as the manpower to implement and sustain project, like the students, student organizations, and even the academic staff. They link and partner with other academic units with expertise on health and wellness. After careful review of UST Simbayan, the programs have been deemed feasible and sustainable. So we are working with different partner communities all over the Philippines, and to say there are a lot almost 125 partner communities and institutions and even schools, no? And with different NGOs and faith-based organizations. So ecumenical and approach, and even interfaith, no, with other religious denominations. No? So, how many minutes more? It's okay. I just would like to see or to point out that there are several projects, no, sponsored and organized by the different academic units, even with student organizations. And we implemented last year of almost 458 projects in our partner communities and institutions, and even with partner NGOs and other faith denominations. So I just give you the PowerPoint so that you can check the quantitative and in terms of number of projects and programs implemented with the different partner communities. So with this, we have also to consider the different engagement, not only with community development, because community development is more of a voluntary program by the different student organizations and academic units. But we have to clarify one of our engagement approach or methodology is the service learning. No? So alam po ba natin yung service learning? We use the academic programs, maximize the academic programs to serve communities, no? While obtaining the learning objectives of particular course or programs, but we see to it that we also address the needs and context of our partner communities. So halimbawa, sa experience ko sa sociology, we have our field school in the community, no, in our partner communities for 1 week. But there are a lot of preparations before we proceed with our field school. But during the field school, for 1 week field school, maraming workshops, no, project development processes, and we're able to produce and develop projects of communities through direct community interactions and living with communities. No? So, kaya lang siguro ngayon, nagkakaiba yung kulay ng community immersion, community integration. But here in University of Santo Tomas, we see to it that we follow all the requirements of the CHED, local government units, and our partner communities. That's why we formalize our partnership with our communities. No? Siguro dahil ilang minuto na lang yung natitira sa akin na pagbabahagi, gusto ko lang bigyan po ng diin na ano ang kaibahan ng engagement ng University of Santo Tomas. No? Since we are a Catholic and pontifical university, our engagement is not just simple from coming from the sustainability and sustainable development goals, even with other development programs. No? So we have to look on our traditions and our mandates as a Catholic university, from gospel truths and the different social teachings, no? At ang recent na mga Catholic social teachings natin, ang Laudato Si, no? Which promoted and developed a holistic perspective on integral ecology. Sinasabi ng dokumento na ito, ng social teaching na ito, na hindi magkakahiwa-hiwalay ang mga sistema at struktura ng lipunan. Magkakaugnay ang lahat ng mga bagay, katulad ng politika, kabuhayan, ang inang kalikasan. So, iisa ang tahanan. Kaya ina-address po namin ito bilang mga programa ng university with our 9 social transformation programs guided by the Tomas strategic social transformation strategies. And with our clusters of social transformation programs, we have the Pistang Tomas, the trade fair, community trade fair program of the university in working with our partner communities. We also develop, we try to journey with them to develop their local products, organic products, no, locally made. The Siglang Tomas, no, engaged with our community-based health program. The Dunong Tomas, the community-based education approach, no, with our partner communities. The disaster risk reduction and sustainability, environmental sustainability in action, yung pong mga tulad ng binahagi nyo kanina, we try to address also the needs of our communities when it comes to energy, and reforestation, and even the mangrove plantation. And the Alert Tomas, even we address already the need for local and political governance. No? And we started it with the Department of Political Science and our office in several partner communities. No? Alam niyo po, pagpunta sa communities, ang layo pa ng governance. No? Yung paano sila mag-preside ng kanilang meeting, ng session, paano po gumawa ng barangay resolution, barangay ordinance, malaki pa habulin. So they need really a training, proper training information, so that people also in the ground can really make and implement good governance. And with our community engaged and service learning researches. So with our resources, under the Simbayan, we have the true branches components of National Service Training Program, the LTS and the CWATS. We have an average of 9,000 students, and every second semester, these 9,000 students, they are implementing service learning projects with our partner communities. Last year, we counted the service learning projects that they implemented. They almost implemented 80 service learning projects with our with our partner communities. And we see to it that we continue the offering of training of community engagement and organizing with the different, not only with the Catholic education institutions, but with other SUCs. No? Ang UST po ay lagi na ring inaanyayahan ng ibang state universities and colleges sa buong Pilipinas. No? And siguro po, gusto ko rin po sabihin na we are the member of the Dominican Family for Justice, Peace, and Care for Creation. We have here Padre Raynor, the promoter of the Dominican Justice and Peace, and the continuous popularization and promotion of Laudato Si. So dahil po, ubos na talaga ang oras, gusto ko po lang sabihin, bisitahin niyo po online yung aming mga handbook for community engagement and organizing that is available online. And the latest, we have the handbook of basic education teachers for climate change and human rights. Magkaugnay po ang problema ng climate change at ang paglabag ng mga karapatang pantao, lalo na sa mga marginalized communities. So that's one of our contributions, many contributions with regard to sustainability. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Once again, maraming salamat, Professor Froilan, for your talk. Round of applause for him, everybody. True enough, UST Simbahayan is a true agent of social transformation and an agent for empowering communities. Thank you, Professor Froilan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our last brand partner, they focus on fostering thriving communities through initiatives in education, youth leadership, sustainable livelihoods, and arts and culture, encouraging communities to use their creativity to transform waste into meaningful creations and discover new purposes, empowering all of them to help build a very much greener future for everyone. He leads corporate partnerships and external relations and serves as a key funding strategist in support of the foundation's work in inclusive development all over the Philippines. He has built long-term collaborations that connect private sector leadership with measurable social impact. For our last speaker for our afternoon session, let's welcome Ayala Foundation Senior Director for Marketing and External Relations, Mr. Paul Mercado.
Good afternoon, kids. Fellow Tomasians. Pagod na kayo, alam ko. Info overload, right? Yes. Let's start by 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes of your time. 17 tops. Check muna natin, gaano kayo ka-corny at gaano kayo ka-cheesy. Who knows Miggy Montenegro? What's the famous line? Sir, Famous line, stay close. Sasagot, sino? Laida Magtalas, gaano ka close, sir? Title? Mukhang walang kapamilya dito. A Very Special Love. Tama? Is it examination season na ngayon sa mga eskwela? Yes or no? Mas gugustuhin kong bumagsak ka sa akin kaysa babagsak ka dahil sa akin. Yes or no? Pero wag niyo sasabihin niyo sa mga teacher niyo, ha? Yeah. Sorry, professors. One more. I'm much more me when I'm with you. Cheesy, no? Yeah. Who knows Ogie Alcacid? Napaghahalata ang edad. What's the famous song of Ogie Alcacid? Come on, yung mga nasa harap, huwag niyo sabihin sa akin bata kayo. For crying out loud. Magpakatotoo tayo. Ogie Alcacid's famous song, Nandito Ako. Okay, if there's anything that is very common, there's a common denominator among all those things, what is it? Konting isip. Alam ko, holiday naman bukas eh. Bigay nyo na sa akin to. What's the common denominator? No. Presence. Of all those things, it talks about presence. Because ang sinabi ng mga nauna sa akin, investment, starting young, I'm here to invite you so that we will have more social investors. Because true service isn't just about duty. It's about presence. And behind every program, every initiative, is a commitment to serve. Whether through a helping hand in the classroom, study hard, we believe that progress is most powerful when shared. Now, when you invest your time and your talent, you do more than just completing a task. It's about creating the opportunity that build lasting connections. That's why my topic is something that is relatable to you. Hands-on, hearts in. Tulak ng bibig, kabig ng dibdib. Gawin nating mas relatable to, mga anak. Oh, by the way, I'm also a Tomasian, born, bred, and raised in UST. 19 basta. Yeah. Wala na yung UST elementary dun eh. But that's where I started. Okay. So, for Ayala Foundation and the Ayala Group, 2026 isn't just about a year on the calendar. It's a very important date for us. Why? Because it is Ayala Foundation's 65th anniversary. And we have been appointed as the private sector lead for the country that will be working with partners across sectors to help and strengthen mobilize volunteerism. Masyadong mabigat. In short, kami ang naatasan ng gobyerno at saka ng United Nations para mamuno sa mga bagay na pwedeng tumulong sa mga nangangailangan, pero alam kasi namin na hindi lahat may kakayahan tumulong at magbigay ng pera. Just by being here, your presence is more than enough. That is why that number is important. Because our target, as of today, is 2 million volunteer hours by 2034. Which is also, my colleague Don is here, will be Ayala Group's 200th year and 65th anniversary namin ngayong taon na to. What is also unprecedented is that last year, Ayala Group, together with all of our partners, UST is one of them. And the other universities, I saw CEU and the likes. Malabo na yung mata ng tito ninyo, kaya hindi ko nakikita. But yeah, we've been working with a lot of schools, and cumulatively, we generated 180,000 hours. Now, This only shows that we are moving beyond traditional acts of volunteerism. Hindi lang kami nagre-repack ng relief goods. Kasi nakakasawa na yun. Hindi na rin kami nagpapapintura ng mga classrooms at nagpupukpok kasi hazard yun. Right now, the focus of Ayala is purposeful, skilled, and sustained volunteerism. Now, it's all about doing what we believe, what you believe is right. And that's just easy. By responding to actual and realistic needs of your community. What is that? Care, accountability, and intention. And it also means creating the value together. Working across teams, sectors, and communities to ensure that what we build, always remember the words that I will be sharing with you. Shared, sustainable, lasting. These are common words that you actually use daily. Hindi nyo napapansin, may impact yon. We are not just clocking in hours, by the way. It's about the efforts that you give to communities because we believe that we need to make one good story, not just today, but for the books, and we invite you to be part of us. Now, your journey starts with two simple things. What is that? Skills and impact. Pag malaki na kayo ngayon eh. Pag kumikita na kayo, punta kayo kay Jed. Natuto na kayo. Pero ngayong nag-aaral kayo, meron kayong talento. Gamitin niyo sa tama. Because you don't know the impact of that simple tap and help can do. So, the question now is, Paul, ang dami mong sinabi. You need 2 million hours. You did 180,000 last year. So how do you synchronize all these massive efforts? It's very simple. It's through that Brigadang Ayala volunteerism web-based application. Scan nyo yung QR code, hindi yan design. Pag in-scan nyo yan, pupunta kayo dun sa website, makikita ninyo all the opportunities that you can be part of. And the good thing about this volunteerism app is very simple. It's not just about what Ayala Foundation is doing. Si Father, kanina, sa simbahayan. Even those activities that you are doing, pwede ninyong ilog in o ilog dyan. Why? Because it's supposed to be a platform for everyone. It's a platform that will enable young professionals, young ones. Magkaiba yon. Kayo yung young ones, kami yung young ones, professionals, and everyone na gusto lang magbigay ng anong meron sila. This is your app. Remember, this is accessible to 60,000 employees of the Ayala Group of Companies and also to all of our partners nationwide. Imagine that. Ilan ang gumagamit ng GCash dito? Very good. Ilan ang nagpupunta sa Ayala Malls dito? Not so good. Kasi malayo. But regardless, all those initiatives, makikita nyo dito. And what's good about this volunteerism app is that we're making it closer to everyone. Kahit saan kayo pumunta sa Pilipinas, mag-log on kayo, makikita ninyo kung ano-ano yung mga activities na ginagawa ng Ayala Foundation, ng Ayala Group of Companies, at ng mga korporasyon na nakikipagtulungan sa amin. Dito walang magkakalaban. Lahat dito magkakapatid, magkakapamilya, magkakapuso, everyone in one simple app. Scan the QR code, and you'll see. Now, as you continue your journey, isa lang yung pinaka-importante kasi. Saan nyo gagamitin? Kasi nagpunta kayo dun sa app eh. Lagyan lang natin ng konting bahay. Kasi sa sobrang talento ninyo at sobrang galing ninyo, You want to make sure that it goes to the right recipient, it goes to the right person. Hindi pwedeng, well, it's good that you can be great for everyone, but the idea here is we want to optimize what you can offer. And that's why, in Ayala Foundation, we want you to look the programs or the pillars that we have differently. It is not just a program, but it is a roadmap for national transformation. We start where the heart is, community development. Dati, nasa buong Pilipinas kami. But we realize that we can't create an impact if masyado kaming nakaspread too thinly. We have chosen these areas, community development, Makati, Zambales, El Nido, Palawan, Mindoro. We feel kasi na doon kami mas kailangan. But that doesn't mean hindi kami tumutulong sa iba. It's just that yun yung aming area for our legacy development. And whatever we have started there, the best practices, we will bring it to other areas na meron kaming makakatulong. Paano namin malalaman kung anong kailangan ng mga taga Cebu, Davao, kung hindi nyo sasabihin sa amin? Paano nyo kami kakausapin? Sa VAP. Right? By the way, the VAP is not just a VAP per se. It stands for the values that you carry or that you believe in. It stands for the value that you will give every time you do something for other people. I'm just throwing that out, guys. Now, but the immediate need is not just for us. We also believe that the soul needs a space to grow. That's why we have arts and culture. Sino nang nakapunta sa Ayala Museum? Now I'm really sad. Don, down ng hand. No one has been to Ayala Museum. No one. Philip, can I just make this offer? All these people here, we will host them free to Ayala Museum. Please, go to the Ayala Museum. I know you have, mahal ko ang UST. Ang laki ng museum ng UST. Pero sabi ko nga, baka hindi nyo alam that in Ayala Museum, there is a 50-plus-year-old diorama which actually tells you the story from pre-colonial to 1946. And that's a work of a national artist. Hindi nyo rin alam na ang yaman ng Pilipinas sa ginto. Now, what is the museum all about? The museum is supposed to provide you or tell the story of what's good about the Philippines and about the Filipino. Nakakahiya na hindi natin alam kung saan tayo nanggaling. Kaya please, parang awa nyo na. There's about 100 of you here, even my co-speakers. We're going to sponsor your entrance to Ayala Museum. Plus, sa loob ng Ayala Museum, there is Filipinas Heritage Library, which actually, again, mahal ko po ang UST kasi meron kayong Central Library, pero may Filipinas Heritage Library din sa loob ng Ayala Museum, which actually houses the biggest Filipiniana post-war collection. In short, walang pinanganak noong 1945 dito, doon makikita ninyo. Who knows Sylvia La Torre? Yeah, Jordan, you're not included. See? That's your story. Paano pag may nagtanong sa inyo, sa labas lang, kilala niyo po ba si Sylvia La Torre? Kilala niyo po ba kung anong nangyari noong 1945? By just simply saying, no, I don't, you actually killed that person's ability to learn something new. But what if you can say na, oh yeah, siya ang kumanta ng ganito. Oh, by the way, pwede kang pumunta sa Central Library, sa UST, at sa Filipinas Heritage Library. O kung saan mang library yan. That's what you can do. That's what arts and culture is all about. And by the way, just so you know, we're also building the biggest contemporary art, soon to rise, the biggest contemporary art center in the country, facing Circuit. Alam niyo ba kung saan ang Circuit? Si Ma'am, yes. In short, yung mga dating tanungin nyo mga tatay ninyong tumataya sa off-track betting. Santa Ana. Alam nyo ba na ang pinakamalaking cabaret sa buong Pilipinas used to be in circuit? Hindi ko sinasabing pumunta kayo sa cabaret. But that's history. That's something new. The cabaret, it's in circuit. Okay? Now, and we also invest in the long game through leadership. This is where the grit of our Atletang Ayala or the ambition of our Yugo scholars, young women pursuing greater opportunities, we are supporting them because we believe that they will lead us tomorrow. And the last one among the pillars, this is our answer to the very serious learning crisis in the Philippines. We don't just build classrooms, by the way, kaya sabi namin sa inyo, pag pumunta kayo sa app, wala na kayong makikitang nagpupukpok at saka nagpipinta. We're going towards skills-based volunteerism. We want to optimize kung ano yung galing ninyo. Ayokong maging political, pero meron ako isang hinahangaan. Ang sabi niya palagi, it's the galing at talino. Meron kayo niyan, gamitin ninyo. Right? And that's why we also want you, just in case you have the opportunity, work with us with 2 of our projects for education so that we can address the worsening learning crisis. But all this masyado siyang malaki. Pasimplihin natin. Pwede kayong tumuwid dyan sa 4 na yan by just merely giving your time, your talent, your treasure. Wala pa ngayon. Kasi when you talk of treasure, it's money. But right now, we want you, through that app, the citizenship, tanggalin yung word na corporate. Citizenship and volunteerism, your time and your talent is more than enough for us. Now, I think I still have 10. Mabilis na to. Okay. Here, as you look at this image, you see the winning formula. Very simple. Doon sa blackboard, ano yung equation na nakalagay doon? Skill plus need equals impact. Kanina nagsimula ako, ano yung mga keywords? Impact. Patay tayo. Okay, balikan natin mamaya yan. You'll see a very powerful equation, but again, this is something that you already know. Your skill plus your need is equivalent to impact. This is the core strategy of this is the core of what we mean in the foundation, strategy meets the soul philosophy. It's our belief. Then when we take our expertise and align it with the community's urgent need, yung pangangailangan ng komunidad, the result isn't just a temporary fix. It gives you lasting transformation. Lumaki naman siguro kayo kay Transformers. O hindi nyo rin alam si Transformers. Si Transformer, anong nangyayari? Robot na nagiging kotse. Ilagay ninyo sa totoong buhay yon. That's what you can actually do. Pag binitbit nyo sila, literally or figuratively, pwede nyo silang dalhin sa mas magandang kinabukasan or magandang lugar. Huwag doon sa iniisip ng mga kabataang lalaki dito. Okay? Now, to make this work, we're not just looking for help. We're looking for your mic. In short, we need you to be physically present because your presence is the tool that will enable us to carry on this task. Second, kailangan namin yung utak ninyo. Di ba ang gagaling ninyo? Tama, mali? Ilang minuto kayo bago makagawa ng TikTok video? I mean, come on. TikTok, IG, X. How long will it take for you to create a post? 1 minute, 2 minutes. Right? Pagandahan nga ng hashtag, di ba? Tama? Gamitin natin yan sa mas maganda. Mas makakatulong. Because we need that. You will never know. Kung ang mga magulang nyo nagagalit dahil panay kayo TikTok, Facebook, IG, at X, dalhin nyo yan sa amin. Baka may magawa tayong mabuti. 3 minutes left. Okay. And the last one is the mentorship. In short, we need your guidance so that we can create something new. Now, so how can you get it done? This is not a plug for a new foundation. Pero look at that. It says, the ultimate foundation. What do we mean by the ultimate foundation? It's not Ayala Foundation. Di ba't pag nagme-makeup kayo, when you do, mga babae at lalaki, pag lumalabas kayo, kailangan pormado, nagme-makeup, ano yung unang inilalatag ninyo? Aside sa cleanser, toner, at moisturizer. Di ba pinipili nyo pa nga kung ano yung shade? Tama, mali. Pag kumuha kayo ng foundation, you check anong shade. Tama? Kasi hindi pwedeng makita na brown ka, puting-puti yung leeg mo. Tama? The same thing in terms of choosing the right organization where you can give or share your talent. It's not just Ayala Foundation. You can work with Citicore. You can work with Robinsons. You can work with everyone. It's just a matter of choosing the right organization that suits your palate. Why? Because pag magka-jive tayo, perfect match. In short, hindi siya photo finish. It's picture perfect, which leads you to a good foundation, right? Now, a lot of people would always ask us, masyadong matapang yung ginagawa ninyo. Will it work? The answer is always a yes, because we've done it. But this time around, we're making it more relevant and relatable. How? It's very simple. We're engaging more people, especially kayo, the youth and professionals, to collaborate, contribute, and see the impact of what you can do. Second, the one. The role is to make your engagement, not participation. It's your engagement to be more accessible and inclusive through the V app. The last one, because the future of volunteerism is not just about giving. It's about working together so that we can create something that is meaningful and something that we can co-own. Now, this is my last slide. You already know the platform. You already know what you can do. The question is, what will you change? Right? Can you do it? You know the answer. It's a yes. When will you do it? The answer, it's up to you. But there's one thing that I would like to leave. You have the means to create meaningful connection and to provide life-changing contribution. Use it. And lastly, if you can just commit to one more act of selflessness, just one more act of selflessness, one more time of telling someone, you know what, I got your back. Tulungan kita. The ripple effect of that will not just change a single life, but it will redefine our collective future as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Paul Mercado from Ayala Foundation, Inc. And Sir Paul, I'm going to call you once again right here on stage for our panel discussion. I'd also like to call on stage Sir Jed L. Velarde, Assistant Professor Froilan Alipao, and Mr. Philip Ku Unyeng as we open our panel discussions this afternoon. Again, everybody, we'd like to invite all of you to check out our panels over here inside the ballroom and check them out as well on May 5 to May 8 at the Tan Yankee Building of the University of Santo Tomas. Joining us as well this afternoon is another member of the faculty from the UST. Allow me to introduce full professor at the UST Graduate School and an academic researcher at the UST Research Center for Social Sciences and Education. She has a solid foundation in sustainability and climate change research and has also contributed to the projects funded by various international agencies. Joining us as well is Professor Arlen A. Ancheta, PhD. All right, this afternoon we still have our brand speakers from Ayala Foundation, Inc., Robinson's Land, and from UST, Sir Paul, Sir Jed, Professor Froilan, Sir Philip from Manila Bulletin, and Professor Arlen, again from UST.
Hello?
All right, here we go. Sir Philip, would you like to start?
Well, maybe we can talk first about the very first talk we had this afternoon, no? Investing, financial literacy, no? That's very important for you were saying. And there was observation made in an event I attended just yesterday by another bank, no? About that for all the kids who are thinking of investing, you're not going to get rich from your salaries. Your salaries will end up having to be covering your daily living expenses, your rent, the food that you eat, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're ever going to be able to save money or make and create money, it's going to have to be from investing, no? Would you like to say something about that, just to sort of reiterate or really pound it into their heads what they have to do?
Thanks, Philip, for that. The greatest inflection point for a young person eventually is once that you get to have your earning potential, your salary. But then again, you don't have to wait until that time, okay? Truly, salaries cannot make you rich. But what's the greatest asset for a young person right now that all thunders here, may not have? It's really time, really. If we could actually turn back time how we wish. But that's really an unfair advantage on your part. Something that you can really tap on. And because time is an advantage on you, you can start doing that, investing as early as today. Because that journey, if you look at the journey is like, if a young person can make mistakes, you can still pick yourself up, correct yourself, learn from that mistake, and move on. But for us, not so young, like what Paul mentioned, young once before, we cannot afford to make that mistake, especially we're in this age already. So can I emphasize again, like what Philip must have mentioned, really investing is designed for young people. Don't waste that opportunity.
Thank you. From the faculty of UST, would you like to throw any questions to our two speakers? Sorry, three speakers.
My background is more on research. And so what future directions are you looking at with your line of expertise? So
Like we're making a part of our study, because like talking about research, we're doing research also for Gen Z behavior when it comes to investing. Where we're crafting something that we wanted to fill a gap. Because there's a lot of studies already taken how there are habits that Gen Z would resonate with. But we want to really understand, because we have, for Call Financial, at least we have 600,000 clients all throughout. And we wanted to understand as well how behaviors of young people, and we've seen the demographics right now, it's getting younger and younger. Before, investors are at least the age of like 40s or 50s. Now we're seeing as young as 18 years old. And it's growing. The biggest chunk right now are young people, young individuals investing. So in that direction, we're really interested, specifically here in the Philippines, what's what's the greater trend right now? And we'll be publishing it soon, and we'll let you know. And the task, what we're actually doing is that we're going around different schools. You get to invite us as well. We go, and we love to come to schools and add value to you. Yesterday, we were just at the senior high school in Frasati as well.
How about you, Paul? Is there any interaction you're doing now with UST in particular?
I believe we are. I just don't know, but it's with the College of Arts, and they will be working with the museum. So that the thing about this, Philip, and the rest of my colleagues, is that your question about research. Ang mga bata kasi ngayon, ang bilis mawala ng attention. Ngayon gusto nyo, mamaya ayaw na. So, it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad because a lot of the FMCGs will really benefit from that. But from the perspective of volunteerism, because that's what I'm doing now, I want to know how can we make them stay? Like, it's not enough to know what is good about the kids. It's not enough to know their interests. But what can really make them stay and commit to it? Kasi yun ang mahirap I mean, lahat tayo oo ng oo. Sabi ko nga, di ba, tulak ng bibig, kabig ng dibdib. Kaka-oo ninyo, mamaya, okay, bukas na or wala na. So you want to be committed to it. Nangako kayo I mean, we want to go back to the palabra de honor, but we want to make it again relevant and relatable. In short, how can we make them stay? And that's what we're working on now.
But like with Brigada, how do you then sift through the skills or the different skills, or how do you then point them towards a particular activity? No?
It's good because for all the initiatives that we're doing, may it be in Ayala Group, tinitingnan namin what is the requirement of the community. And then we post it out. That's why in the volunteer app, it's clearly stated, this is the number of people that we need that will do this. Kasi hindi pwede, gone are the days na pag nagpapunta tayo ng mga kabataan ngayon sa isang eskwela, they'll just be doing the same thing. And you'll find most of the kids, wala, nakatunga nga na lang dyan, nagsa-cellphone. And we're making it very strategic in such a way that if we just need 30, we just need 30. We will optimize the number because that's your commitment. Again, the commitment is not to us. We're just a platform. The kids' commitment is to the community na pinangakuan nila na, you know what, I got your back.
Okay, because the volunteerism organization I'm familiar with that I've actually seen in action is Hands-on Manila. No?
Yes.
And so that one is very task-oriented.
Precisely.
It's one weekend. It's companies who then send their employees to produce and create certain fulfilled tasks throughout the day. How do you differentiate from that? And how do you create something that's longer lasting or different from what Hands-on Manila is now offering?
Again, it's nice that there's a lot of organization doing that because the country is in great need of help. But if I will go back to my presentation, it's all about skills-based. It's about knowing what you're very good at. May it be in a corporation or from the students, we match it with the right requirement and need of the community. That's why the Volunteerism app is a platform. It's like a marketplace. But this time, we're not asking any of the volunteers to pay. The mere presence, you bring yourself to the site, let us know what you're good at, and we'll capitalize on that. And it's also, by the way, and it's also provide opportunities for organizations to really work together. Kasi may mga, within an organization, they wouldn't know na, I need that kind of expertise. So sometimes, even the ones giving help actually needs help. So that's what's good about that volunteerism platform that Ayala created. Yeah.
How about with you, sir, with UST and community interaction?
Yeah, siguro I can add experiences and the practice of University of Santo Tomas with regard to community engagement. No, we have to look on the different stakeholders' participation and contribution. For example, in the level of students, no, like the student organizations. Although we consider that also as volunteerism, but there are mechanisms how to volunteer. So they have to be student organizations recognized by the Office for Student Affairs, and they have to follow processes and requirements to build up projects for communities with partner communities. Gone are the days yung bang nangyayari na, sir, gusto namin mag-implement ng project, ganito ang concept. Saan mo gagawin? Yung nga po wala pang community. So mali yung approach, no? Because just like with your sharing, we have to address the needs of particular communities, no? And then ano yung kakayahan nating i-address? Yung mga needs na yon. And we believe on the approach of participatory because everybody can share, no? So hindi lang tayong volunteer from the university, parang hindi tayo wala tayong messianic complex dapat, no? Because we believe that everybody can share on the social change, no? So lahat tayo mga transformers, no? Yung nakarelate ako sa iyo, no? So transformers tayo because if you go to the communities, no, second another level with or in the components of communities, marami silang pwedeng ibahagi talaga. The knowledge, the culture, the wisdom. You know, in my experience in the University of Santo Tomas for almost 25 years, no, we learn a lot from our partner communities. Hindi lamang sila ang natuto. Malaki ang natutunan ng university when it comes to journeying with communities. Ngayon, hindi na kami yung pinto-pintura. Although pinto-pintura, pukpok, but it's still part of the whole community development plan of the community. So just like with your presentation, we can also relate even the skills, the education to community development. Just like with the framework of the Tomas, no? So everything we do in the communities is aligned with the framework, with the needs of communities and the plan of the community. So we also count the resources, no, shared by communities, like even their time, no. Sabi mo nga kanina, wala namang pera yung estudyante, no. But they can share their time, their talent, no. And the university, we have the community service fund, so they apply for community service fund to fund their project. But there are mechanisms that parang kailangan makatotohanan yung proyekto because of the community development approach. We work with communities, we apply for community organizing, and then there are processes of project development. So, yung project na nabubuo ng mga estudyante ay nakabatay talaga sa pangailangan ng pamayanan. So, kaya malaking-malaki yung nagkakaroon ng paradigm shift talaga in 25 years, no? Hindi na kami yung dilata lang, no? Yung disupot ng isa. Wala na. Kailangan natin, we really work with empowerment, no? O ayaw natin ng ayuda. No? But we see, even the people in the community, sir, di naman makakatulong yung ayuda. Pansamandali lang yan. Pansamantagal, gusto yata na. Pansamantagal, no? So, kaya po, yun, I think, ang contribution ng community engagement is not just about economic, political change but it's also cultural, no? Responding on the integral formation of the people. Sabi nga ni Pope Francis, integral ecology, and it goes beyond politics, economics, even our Mother Earth, magkakaugnay, no? Kaya nga laki ng natutunan namin sa mga katutubong Pilipino. Sa katutubo, hindi po dikahon ang mga sistema nila. Buo ang paningin nila sa kanilang pamayanan. Ang kultura, pangangalaga, relihiyon, kahit mga maliliit na species sa kanilang pamayanan ay bahagi ng nilalang, no, ng likha ng kanilang Diyos na kinikilala. At hindi yon malayo sa paniniwala ng ating mga Katolikong Kristiyano. Kaya alam nyo ba na meron na ring promotion ngayon or lobbying of the rights of nature? Rights of nature, no? Yesterday, I was in Congress, pinag-uusapan na for second reading yung rights of nature. At nandoon din yung mga corporations, mga CSR, and then the development groups, environmental groups, pinag-uusapan yung rights of nature, no? Kasi hindi pwedeng magdemanda yung dolphin sa korte. Wala siyang legal entity. So kaya yung rights of nature, pwedeng ikatawan ng tao, no, i-represent ng tao yung Manila Bay, yung dolphin, yung mga species na namamatay, because they have also the rights to exist. So it's really a paradigm shift from anthropogenic to eco-human-centered perspective in development.
But
It's
do you-
really a big shift of perspective.
Do you find that there's a very strong response among the UST student body to be volunteering, or would you like to make this an opportunity to appeal to
Yeah.
them to be more active?
Out of 220 student organizations, very active po yung mga organizations na yun. And they are responding to the call and very eager to work with communities. No? And one of the motivations, as I mentioned earlier, we have the service learning program. No? Academic yung approach niya, naka-integrate siya sa mga courses. No? Like, for example, engineering, meron na sila ngayong service learning program from first year to fourth year. So they have to work for particular communities and specific development agenda of a particular community. And they will work interdisciplinary, no? But within the engineering, regardless kung mechanical engineering ka, like ECE, magwo-work sila as a group, no? Addressing particular community. Kaya volunteerism plus maximizing the resources of academic processes, nabubuhay yung civic responsibility.
So this is
Yeah.
the idealism of youth. So maybe you can
Yes.
teach them and to be wary. At what age are they going to start getting jaded? Jaded.
Well,
Because after a while, you get disillusioned, di ba?
Yeah.
Na all that you do, sometimes it's frustrating.
Pero siguro yung nakakatulong yung after they conduct service learning projects and community development, the processing. You have to just look on what are the strengths and weaknesses, the possibilities of the impact and the possibilities in the future of the project. And we see to it that the communities, they have also their own process of maintaining and sustaining the project. No? But that's true, no? Paglabas nila ng university, kakaiba ang kalagayan ng lipunan, di ba? Very frustrating. Nag-a-abroad na marami. Nag-a-abroad sila dahil parang walang pag-asa sa Pilipinas. So I think to address that, we share our effort, but we have to see to it then there are systemic approaches to really sustain the volunteerism. I think yun yung kailangan din natin, no? From our end, no? Sa mga non-state entities tayo, di ba? NGOs. I think yun yung pwedeng may
For our
bahagi.
brand sponsors, if there's something that you'd like them to really have as the single most important takeaway from what they, absorbed during this afternoon, what would you like that to be? Paul, besides the free visit to Ayala Museum.
Oh yeah, because I'm serious about that, guys. Please, masad talaga ako pag hindi kayo pumunta doon. Key takeaway is very simple. You have the power, you have the means to make, again, it's because it's the line that I've always been saying, and a lot of the kids that I interact with, you have what it takes to make a difference. Hindi siya basta tagline lang. Use it. Ang galing-galing ninyo. But to address that answer is, pero hanggang kailan? Because in reality, iba ang mundo sa labas. But that's also what's good about working with organizations like us. It exposes you, expose is such a negative term, but it provides you the realistic concept of what the world is. Para pag lumabas kayo, you're very safe kasi dito eh. This is your safe space eh. Hindi kayo ma-culture shock. At least you're very much aware of what's happening. It's not just about engaging. It's about making sure that it is also aligned with your values. So that when you go out into the real world, you can say, you know what? I'm ready for this. And I'm ready to give back. It's simple as that.
Sir, would you like to also say something?
The university is now 415 years old. And so it means that we have been existing for that certain period of time simply because the university is first relevant and then second present in every historical period. And so for the students, just sustain our relevance and presence in society.
For investment purposes?
And lastly, just two things. The cost of delay. If you delay something, it would have repercussions into your financial future. And second, I hate scams. Because when people are scammed, that's where, that's also an indicator of the level of our financial literacy. So, I mean, for us to raise that level, we have to really get to know the proper way. And coming here also is already a win. So can you tell yourselves, congratulations?
And that's actually a reminder for everybody. This morning, I also gave the message na what I want you guys to really develop is critical thinking. Diba? Don't accept everything you hear. Don't accept everything you read. Yeah, process it properly. Really check the sources. Really find out whether you're being led. Because it's so easy for people to be led nowadays. No? And the situation, if you really look at it outside right now, is if you tell the lie often enough, it becomes the truth. And that's really what's happening nowadays in terms of what we see in social media and what is the political landscape, no? So hopefully you guys will understand that, all of what we're doing today is really just part of you also developing a sense of critical thinking, no? And I don't know, Robin, you'd like to close it?
Just a wrap up of both our morning and afternoon sessions, everyone. So I'm tying it back once again to what Secretary Coloma, the Manila Bulletin publisher, said this morning, that sustainability is a shared responsibility economically, environmentally, humanly, even socially. And from that responsibility follows our action, individual actions. And with both of that, responsibility and action, that is how we all uplift our communities together. And with that, everyone, can we give a round of applause to all of our brand speakers this afternoon? Thank you so much for that very dynamic discussion. Thank you, maraming salamat. At this point, I'd like to call all of you to please stand up because we're going to have your photo opportunity together with our executives from Manila Bulletin. First up, we're going to have we have Sir Jordan Tan joining us on stage, Ms. Irish Lorenzo, Mr. Leslie Araujo, and Ms. Len Amadora. For our UST partners, you'll be joining our photo opportunity for the second set. Again, this one will be our brand partners first. Professor Arlen and Professor Froilan, please join me right here. You'll be joining us for the second photo opportunity. So, Professor Froilan, hi, please join me right here muna. You guys will be joining the second set for the UST partners. No, you guys are joining that for the for UST partners. Okay, right now we have our brand partners right there in the middle. Our sponsors, thank you so much for joining us. Again, to all of you, please stay tuned because we're going to have a raffle draw in just a few moments. And I know you guys want to take home all of those prizes this afternoon. Gentle reminder, please don't forget to please scan those QR codes you see all over the ballroom and register your names for you guys to be included in a raffle draw this afternoon. All right. We have our UST partners joining us and brand partners as well. Just one whole picture. Sir Paul, join us the whole time. And again, to all of you, please don't forget to check out our panel boards over here inside the ballroom. They'll be here with you from May 5 to May 8th at the Tan Yan Kee building. So check out the projects of all of our brand partners for this year's Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. Joining for this second set, again, we have the University of Santo Tomas, Reverend Father Louis R. Coronel and Ms. Mika Lagniton. Thank you for joining us, Father Louis and Ms. Mika. All right, everybody, all smiles for the cameras. Here we go. All right, everybody, round of applause, please, for all of our speakers this afternoon. Thank you so much for making this afternoon session really worthwhile. Reverend Father Louis, please stay with me right here on stage as we wrap up and close this afternoon session. Thank you so much, Father.
Distinguished partners from our friends, the Manila Bulletin, respected leaders, partners, educators, students, and members of the Tamasian community, a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. As we close the Sustainability Forum, we give thanks not only for the ideas shared, but for the conscience awakened. Today, we are reminded that sustainability is not only about environment, it is also about people and about communities. That is why your theme is very beautiful. Uplifting community sustainability in action. Sustainability becomes real when it lifts lives, protects dignity, and gives hope. It is not only a program, it is a way of seeing. It is the decision to say, the earth is not disposable, neither are people. For us in the University of Santo Tomas, this is also part of our formation. We educate not only the minds that can solve problems, but the hearts that can feel the responsibility. And perhaps this is the invitation after this forum to make sustainability less of a word and more of a habit, less of a report and more of relationship, less of a campaign and more of a conversion. To Manila Bulletin, thank you again for creating this space for dialogue and collaboration. To our distinguished speakers, organizers, partners, and participants, thank you for reminding us that hope is not passive. Hope organizes, hope collaborates, and hope acts. May we leave this ballroom with renewed commitment that in every policy, every project, every classroom, every newsroom, every office, in every community, we will choose actions that heal rather than harm, include rather than exclude, and build rather than consume. Sustainability begins when responsibility becomes action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Father Louis R. Coronel, OPEHL, Secretary General of the University of Santo Tomas. Maraming salamat for your message, Father Louis. And now, everyone, the moment you guys have been waiting for. Are you guys ready to win raffle prizes? Yes or yes? Definitely. All right, everybody, right now, please check our screen for the raffle draw winners. Here we go. Congratulations to all of our raffle draw winners. Please don't forget to claim your prizes by 5 o'clock p.m. at the right side of the stage. And make sure to bring your ID for verification. Again, CEU students, please stay for further announcements after the program. All right, everybody, to all of our audiences, especially our future sustainability champions, thank you so much. Maraming salamat for your active participation and thoughtful engagement. You know what? Conversations like this remind all of us that real change begins with awareness and is sustained through collective action. And for this, can we all give everybody here a big round of applause? Our brand partners, UST, CEU, and of course, Manila Bulletin for spearheading this 5th edition of our forum. And again, let's not forget, let this not be the end of our conversation, but the beginning of a more meaningful action toward a more sustainable and resilient future. On behalf of everyone, thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. Are you guys ready to clap? Yes? Maraming salamat for joining us this morning and afternoon. My name is Robin Nambayan. And again, this has been your Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum 2026. See you again soon and be safe, everybody. Thank you.